Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take on our voicemail line, and I promise we'll play your take back on our next episode. That number is 219-413-9405. And then, hey, you know what to do. Leave a quick take. Anyway, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but baseball season is still rolling strong, and my team, them Detroit Tigers, is balling. We are, as my great friend here, Travis Hicks, sports reporter from Fox 47, says, the hottest team in baseball. What's going on with you, Travis? How you feeling, bro?
Manny, always appreciate you having me. I always tell you this is the best sports podcast out there. Not just saying that because you're a great friend. You really deserve your flowers. And yes, Tigers' best team in the league. Super excited to talk more sports with you. It's always a fun time on here. And, there's nothing better than like talking sports. So let's get to it.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Anyway, so look, let's do this. So as we know, the round in the playoffs just ended. Second round just finished off. It was a game 7 that we got to witness between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Initially, when I seen this matchup, game 7, I'm like, okay, we are in for a duel here. But it really just ended up turning out to be a butt whooping. We seen OKC whip off the belt and get the popping and swinging. So it was a match that I was not really anticipating turning out that way in game 7. So it just caught me by surprise. What's your thoughts on that game 7 between OKC and the Denver Nuggets?
I'll be honest, I was wrong about the game. I was going for Denver. I would like to see Jokic get another ring, and I wanted Russ to get one because he's like the
Okay.
last OG from like those classes of '08 and '09. But it was a
Yep.
butt whooping, like you said. Shy, I think, and I told you this on a previous podcast, Shy's the MVP. And I think he solidified it with that game, the way he played. Jokic still might have had the better season, but Shy came up for his team big. And the last 2 years, they were a 1 seed. Last year, they got beat by Dallas, and everyone's like, oh, they're a fluke
Yeah.
1 seed. They're like the Atlanta Hawks of when LeBron used to beat them. But OKC did it. I got to give them their credit. Shy played amazing. Chet, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams finally was hitting some shots. So, like you said, it was a butt whooping. And the one guy who's an X factor, Alex Caruso, is still a great defender
Man,
all around. Just like he was giving Jokic hell. If you remember during the game,
man,
second and third quarter, Jokic went to the bench and they went on a 13-0
dog.
run and they were down by 2 and now up by 11. So it was just crazy to see.
Dog, when Alex Caruso, it was really the second quarter. If you didn't watch the game, the second quarter of that Denver Nuggets and OKC game really was all that you needed to see. That was the peak of the game. That was the deciding factor of the game. Was that second quarter, and then they came out in the third quarter with that same fire and just ran with
Right.
it. So I was shocked at that point. When they came out after halftime and continued to stay iron high and just on fire, I was like, okay, all right, let's get ready for the Wolves. Let's get ready for the Wolves, and let's see OKC Wolves matchup at this point. Like, yeah, Matt or Nuggets was just not gonna come back after that. But you mentioned Alex Caruso, which obviously veteran presence on that young team.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this is the dude. What stood out to me was him guarding Nikola Jokic. I seen something here, and it was like a basketball type of thing that I just love. Me being a smaller dude, I pay attention to this type of stuff because this is what I do. Whenever I go play basketball, and when I used to play basketball, like in an actual organized setting. So, I love Nikola Jokic. The matchup between Alex Caruso and Nikola Jokic. Initially,
Yeah.
people probably think like, "What the hell?" It makes no sense. But I just love from the fact of Caruso being smaller, being able to take up space, being able to limit Jokic from putting the ball on the floor, because that's what really hurts a lot of defenders when they're guarding Nikola Jokic. These bigs can't keep up with Jokic dribbling the ball, moving as fast as he is. When you put a smaller guy there who takes away the space, who limits every amount of dribble that Jokic is going to do, it makes that much of a difference. So as long as Jokic isn't down low, posted up against Caruso, which we did end up seeing,
Right.
then he's okay. And even when that happened, we seen Thunder swarm the hell out of Nikola Jokic in
Yeah.
that setting. So it was just that was amazing to me, and that was a basketball thing that really stood out to me.
Oh yeah, I thought it was incredible defense, and that second quarter, third quarter, they really like took over. Because if you notice in the game, Denver took their starters out with still like 8 minutes to play. Like they
Yeah,
were just like throwing in the towel. And the thing was, I
yeah,
thought it was going to be Denver's game because from the beginning, Kristen Braun was starting to get buckets. They were up by 11 at one point in the first quarter.
yeah,
It's crazy looking at that game to consider Denver at one point was up by double digits, but it looked like they were going to get it. But when they started missing, Jamal Murray was missing his shots, Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon risked his career, playing on
man.
that grade two, hamstring. And when
Like, bro,
Shams reported that that's a 7 week injury, because I think it was similar to maybe Steph Curry's injury, what he was dealing with in the Timberwolves series.
yeah.
And he like was still out there playing. You could see he just couldn't move the same. And I'll be honest, it's a new era of basketball. And I think what's so interesting right now,
Hmm.
one of these four teams that are left that will win a championship will be the first championship in 50 plus years from one of the four, because three of them haven't won one, and the Knicks last one in 1973.
Yeah,
So
bro. So
it's
I'm so
parity.
excited. I'm so excited about that. And I'm so glad you just mentioned that because that kind of brings me to the point that I really wanted to talk about here and that I really wanted to mix up is new champion is obviously happening. Knicks, Pacers, Wolves, Thunder. Like this is exciting. And to me, with everybody who's left remaining, I got to compare. It's only right.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
is here. Congratulations, you made it to the conference finals. But there's one specific guy who's been standing out to me in every series that he's played in, and that I got to consider the best player in this playoffs right now. So I was gonna let you go first in this instance,
Oh,
but
go
I
ahead.
think I gotta go ahead and just say it, bro. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the playoffs so far, as he's already in the conference finals. I know you can make an argument for SGA. You can make an argument for Ant. Ant is my personal favorite star player who's left in the playoffs right now. But nobody compares to what Jalen Brunson has been doing. This man has been putting the Knicks on his back. He done hit buzzer beaters. He done hit game winners, all kind of things, silencers. Like this man has been incredible. So I'm super excited. And we'll preview the series about the Indiana Pacers in just a second. But for me, the best player remaining in this playoffs right now is Jalen Brunson. And it doesn't even come close.
Wow, man. Okay, so I will say this: Jalen Brunson has been balling. I'm going to give him his flowers real quick because what he did to Detroit, I was mad. I kept calling him a flop artist on Twitter, but I got to admit, he's a
Me too.
bucket.
Me
That
too.
game winner he hit on Asar to end the series, that
Yeah.
was he's a bucket.
Oh,
I want to say this: if the Knicks do go on to win the finals, the Pistons push them to the brink of potential finals champions. So I want to say that so our future's bright.
yeah.
But to go
I
but to go to your point, Brunson has been absolutely balling. What he did to Boston, even before Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, they were going to beat
man.
Boston, and that was saying a lot with how stacked that team is. However, Manny, I think you're wrong. I got to go with
Oh.
Anthony Edwards, legend
Oh.
killer, legend killer. This man has beat
Oh.
Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. I don't want to say he beat my boy Steph, even though he technically did, but Steph got
He
hurt in
did.
game one, and they did win that game. So maybe it would have been different if Steph won. I can only dream about that. But the point is, I gotta say Ant because I see he's a baby Michael Jordan. I don't know if they're actually
Oh.
related. If Jordan, I don't know. They're
Hey.
probably not. But I think
Hey.
Ant has just been balling. He's had like some bad games. Jalen Brunson's been more consistent, but I think Ant is going to win the Wolves their first championship.
I hope he does, honestly. But that's where I was gonna go about the consistency. I think Brunson has been more consistent. That's
Yeah.
ultimately why I picked Brunson as the best player in the playoffs remaining. But I do hope Anthony Edwards goes on to win, and we'll discuss the series in a sec.
Yeah.
But it makes me think to another guy who is never gonna get the credit. They consider him extremely overrated, and I think it's very
I know
important
what
that
you're
we
talking
talk
about.
about this because this man is a bucket, and he's been showing his behind. Therese Halliburton, bro.
Hooping.
Nobody wants to give him credit. Nobody will give him credit. But you can argue that Therese Halliburton is one of the best players left in the playoffs right
Yes.
now because of how consistent he's been, because of how important he's been to this Indiana Pacers team. And this man is, you can combine, okay, this is how I look at Therese Halliburton. You take a prime Chris Paul, prime Steve Nash, and put them together, and you add a little athleticism from a young Damian Lillard, or I ain't gonna go too crazy, but I'll just say that you add the athleticism from a young Damian Lillard, you throw Chris Paul in there, you throw Steve Nash in there, and put it all in one, and you're looking at Therese Halliburton. That's how I look at him and the way he's been playing in this playoff so far. And without him on his team, the Pacers offense would not flow the way it does, and everybody else wouldn't be as involved as they are in this offense. So this is why I'm like Tyrese Halliburton. You can also make that argument that he is definitely one of the best players remaining in
Yeah.
this playoffs right now.
He's definitely one of the best players remaining, without a doubt. I wouldn't say he's better than Brunson or Ant just yet. That's just
I
my personal opinion. But
Facts.
I
Okay.
do. He definitely is one of the best players. He deserves credit. Back-to-back conference finals appearances, more conference
Man.
appearances than Joel Embiid. Just had to put that out there because like Tyrese has been balling, and he's had moments like the game winners he had against Cleveland. Cleveland was the best team in the East all year, and they,
Oh
beat them,
man.
and it
Oh
was
yeah.
convincingly. So Tyrese, I think what he's doing, and if he were to get a ring, I think that would be special too, because a lot of people kept saying he's overrated. He didn't do much. He just only hits like shots at times. He didn't play that much over the summer with the other
Hmm.
best players in the Olympics. But no, I think his experience from over the summer of not getting that much PT, being around guys like Steph, Brown, and them, I think that's why we're seeing so many guys like him and Brunson, be able to flourish right now. Because Anthony Edwards even said after they beat the Warriors, he said he worked with Steph over the summer on shooting.
Yeah.
That's why he's been able to hit more threes. So I think Tyrese is a bucket, and I will say this, I think he's the most clutch player left in these playoffs. I stand on that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hell no, bro. I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away with that.
Hey,
Tyrese
he's at
Halliburton?
buzzer
More,
beaters, get step back. I'm talking about out of the players remaining. I'm not saying he's the most clutch player in the league. Out of the
I
players
mean,
remaining,
Jalen Brunson is still here, bro. You can't
true,
you got Tyrese
true.
Halliburton over Jalen Brunson is more clutch?
I think he's a little bit more close. But Tyrese has already
Oh,
had
bro.
memorable shots already. We got to think about the game winners he had in Cleveland and what he was doing in that series. Come on, and what he also the game winner he also had against Milwaukee, beating that Giannis team, with Dame.
Oh, that
I,
was crazy.
So because he's
Ooh,
already had like two
that
or
was
three
crazy.
game winners. In this postseason, you can make a case Tyrese Halliburton has been the most clutch player.
See, that's tough, bro. And you know what? I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. And because you have a valid point. In that
Yeah,
Milwaukee series, he was clutch as hell. And then
yeah,
in the Cavs series, he was clutch as hell. So you have a point. But it's hard to wrap my mind around it just because of the impact of what Jalen Brunson has been doing. And then obviously, oh my gosh, bro, the dagger that Jalen Brunson hit against my Pistons was just
yeah.
like,
That
dog,
was
if
tough.
I felt it. I felt. So the pain was there, bro. That like, I don't cheer for the Bucks. It was just an amazing game, and it was amazing buzzer beater. Same with the Cavs. I was actually hoping the Pacers won anyway, so I was happy that happened. But bro,
Yeah,
with the Pistons, where I'm like, we finna
yeah.
go to 7 games, and then Brunson fucking tween. Excuse my language. I need to beep it out, but tween, pull up. Oh,
Yeah,
dog,
that was tough. I'm not gonna lie. When he did that, I was
dog,
like, oh, it's just like somebody put a knife like through your heart. It's like, dang, because the Pistons
dog.
were right there. So I see what you mean about Brunson, and he's been phenomenal. But I think Tyrese has had more moments. And hearing what you just said, that one shot did win the series. Don't get me wrong, what Jalen Brunson did. But Tyrese had his moments against the Bucks, and he also did it against the Cavs. And really, they were
Oh,
big underdogs
bro.
in the Cavs series.
Yeah.
So I think Tyrese has a point to prove.
Bro, you know what these daggers feel like, and then we're gonna move on because we're gonna go to the actual predictions. So, like, all right, you ever watch Avatar, like the Last
Yeah,
Airbender? So
yeah.
this just remind me, bro. All these daggers, the Tyrese Halliburton buzzer beaters and the game winners that he hit against Milwaukee, Jalen Brunson hitting the buzzer beater against the Pistons. Bro, these daggers just feel like when Aang took my man's powers, when he took the
Oh
Fire
yeah.
Lord powers. This is how it feels like on the opposing team, bro. Like when Brunson hit that against us, that's how it felt. It felt like it was like, and then took my powers. I'm like, damn, bro, we lost.
Yeah.
So it's like for Halliburton to do that against Cleveland,
And to go on
like
your point about the Avatar, is one, that's an amazing reference. Two, you want to know why you're so right about that? Is because
why?
after he hit the game winner, Malik Beasley had an open three, dropped it
Dog,
because everybody was still
dog,
memorized over. Think about it. We're all still like Jalen Brunson hit the shot. Then we actually have a chance to tie the game. Malik Beasley
bro,
drops it. That's the season.
bro.
That's the
Yeah,
season.
and that was the season, bro. Oh my gosh, that was rough. That was rough. I don't know how the hell we got on that. Anyway, look, we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna jump back into some of the predictions. Kind of wrap up what else been going on in the playoffs, but we'll jump back into the predictions of the conference finals and the teams we're expecting to win. Teams I'm expecting to win. Teams he expecting to win. So give us a break. We'll take a quick break. It's halftime. We'll be right back. All right, so the live stream is still live.
Oh, sweet.
That's one of
That's
the
pretty
things about the
sweet.
live stream.
So
So we
does it
can
make it
just
easier to Does it make it easier, like, to edit for you and stuff like
Oh,
that?
1000%, bro.
Man, I'm
1000%.
happy for you. Like, seriously, you always tell me, like, oh man, it's an honor to have you on. It's an honor when you ask me. Like, this is
No,
I tell people every day, if I could do something, one thing every day, I would just podcast with you. And I'm not just saying that
oh,
because we're close, but like, I just
hey,
generally love talking sports. Like,
I
it's
appreciate
fun.
that. Well, shit, don't tempt me. Don't tempt
I'm serious. No,
me.
so anytime,
Coming back Thursday. Don't tempt me.
but I was on Johnny's pod a week or two. We talked about Travis Hunter. That was a good one.
Under the hood sports. Yeah,
Yep.
his stuff dope. I like his stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny's stuff be going crazy. Me and Johnny, me and Johnny, I need to kick it with Johnny again because every
For
time we
sure.
talk, we be like, all right, bro, yeah, we be close, so close to getting each other, whether he on my pod or whether I'm on his, we be so close every time, and
Really?
then it's like something that happened where it's just like, man, yeah, something that happened. So we gonna figure it out. But anyway, all
But
right, let's jump into this.
sweet.
Yeah, live stream's still going. So we right at the middle, right at the half. All right, let's do it. I'm about to come back into the pod and all that. Let's do it.
But
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Run with me, Manny Wilson. I'm still here with my special guest, sports reporter Travis Hicks. What's going on with you, Travis? How you feeling, bro?
man, feeling good. It's always a pleasure talking sports with you. And this is like always the best time, man. Talking NBA playoffs, almost
Man,
summer. We got baseball back. No better place to be on the pod.
shout out to them Tigers. You know, as you say, the
Yeah.
best team, the hottest team in
Team.
baseball.
You
But
see me on Twitter.
hey, bro, you really be having me like saying that at the most randomest time.
Oh, really?
I be at work and I'm like, hey, bro, my Tigers won again. And I'm like, the hottest team in baseball.
There's-
Like, I be saying it at the most random times, bro. It's
yeah, I be quote tweeting a lot of my Detroit sports teams.
yeah, bro. I mean, you got to, bro. You got to. Anyway, so look, let's do this, man. So let's discuss. Obviously, anybody on a live stream, of course, greatly appreciate you if you're listening. And you tapped in through the live stream, or if you're on the podcast platforms, whichever way you are listening, you know it is greatly appreciated. However, hey, so we got our playoff tree set up. In the conference finals, we got all the different teams that's going to be matching up against each other starting tomorrow, actually, with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's start right here with this game. You said one of these guys is the best player in basketball. So between these teams, who you got winning? Going to the
I
finals, as a matter of fact.
I got Ant-Man, young Michael Jordan. I think the T-Wolves are going to win in 7. And the reason why I say that, last year they lost in 5 to the Mavericks. And, they went through that experience of losing, and now they got Randall playing better.
Man,
Rudy Gobert, he might get you a 20 and 20 randomly, that's
man.
still mesmerizing to me. But I think Ant's going to lead these boys. They have a great foundation around them. I love what Jaden McDaniels is doing. I think one of the X factors who's been underrated is Dante DiVincenzo. So I think the
Definitely.
T-Wolves are going to win in 7. I think the motivation stems from losing last year, and also, Ant not having his right hand man anymore, Cat. So a lot of
Yeah.
people had doubt of the T Wolves this year. Even in the first round, they said Lakers in 5, and they've been able to preserve and just win. So it's going to be tough because OKC has been the best team all year. But I got T Wolves in 7, and I believe they take Game 1 tomorrow night.
Okay, all right. I ain't mad at that. So here's where I am about the series here. I agree with you. I think the Wolves are going to win in 7, and I hate that I agree with you because I love disagreeing and love being a villain sometimes. But it is what it is. I'm not about to change my opinion because you got a great mind just like
Yeah.
mine.
I
Anyway,
appreciate that.
so no, I think Wolves win in 7. I got literally same amount of games and everything, and I haven't been convinced of OKC all season long. And I know Wolves have been up and down in their play as well, but I really do think that the experience is going to show, and I think the experience is going to make a difference. Everybody talks about playoff experience, but we never really discuss how that actually makes a true difference in a playoff series. One of the ways it makes a true difference is, hey, sometimes the lights just a little too bright. We've
Right.
seen it with our Pistons. The lights was just a little too bright, especially starting off the series. In times they were playing at home, lights was just too bright. They didn't know how to close games early on. They had to pick it up, learn it, And just because they never been on that stage before, it was just that much more difficult. Yes, Thunder is a great team, but the Thunder has never been to the conference finals with this young group. So yeah, we'll probably see SGA get his 30 piece and 7 assists and 6 rebounds. But at the end of the day, the rest of those guys who are shooters, who are usually consistent knocking down threes, will they actually show up? I think they will for a moment, for a couple of games, just not 4 games, and enough in 4 games to actually close it out against the Timberwolves, who's already been there and have those adjustments and know what to do and know how bright the lights is going to be and all of that. So I'm going T-Wolves in 7, and I think it's going to be a great series. But I will say I did get scared a little bit in that previous matchup against the Denver Nuggets, just seeing how Oklahoma City closed out the Denver Nuggets. That part was a little scary to me. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, and I mean, but Denver was a great team. That was a team who almost could have went back to back if it wasn't for a 20-point blown lead in Game 7, actually against the T-Wolves a year ago. But OKC, they're tough, man. I believe they got this year's MVP. Shy, no matter if we call him a three-throw merchant, he can ball. He's going to get you 30, and he's going to do his thing. And Chet and those boys are going to play as well. And they're young, they got fresh legs. T-Wolves are young too, but I just think Ant just has that competitive fire, and I think he fuels off of the doubt. People saying, "Oh, we got OKC, we got the Lakers, we got the Warriors," and he's ready, I think, to take that next step. One thing I found interesting, when they beat the Lakers, LeBron told him it's time to take that next step. So I feel like Ant's going to do it. It is going to be an extremely tough series. I think it's exciting. So I think 2 young guns going at it, Shy versus Ant. So T-Wolves in 7.
I'm definitely excited about that. I think it's going to be something very unique. And the only time I've never, like I said, I've never been scared of OKC. Yes, they are young. Yes, that group has actually played together for a large majority of time because of I know in the past with the national team, SGA, Lou Dort, they were together. So I understand that. But the one thing that scared me about OKC is just honestly, the way they stormed Denver Nuggets in the second quarter was something that put a little fear in me. I'm like, okay, these boys is balling. These boys playing aggressive defense. Yeah. They're everywhere. They're closing out. They're rotating. It was great basketball. And what I tried to look at, and the thought that made me counteract that is because I'm thinking, okay, well, yes, OKC is good. Yes, OKC, they play great defense. They have good offense. They've been the number 1 team all year. But also, the Timberwolves are not the Denver Nuggets. The Timberwolves play better defense than the Denver Nuggets. The Timberwolves have more offense than the Denver Nuggets as well. So this is slight advantages where I think it's going to cause a matchup issue. And also, Denver Nuggets are not deep at all on the bench. Timberwolves are. They have pieces coming off the bench. I mean, DiVincenzo, like we mentioned, who's been great all year long, is coming off the bench sometimes. So it's like these things make a huge difference. And this is where I kind of want to give the Timberwolves the advantage, and this is ultimately why I say, Wolves in 7 in this series here. And I think Wolves go to the finals. I hope that the Wolves win the finals, man. It's about time. It's about time we see Ant-Man pick up that first ring. It's about that time, man.
I think it is. No, I think it is. I think Ant is born for moments like this. I think he's a generational talent, and I think Ant just really – he loves that grind. You see, obviously, a lot of team hopping, things like that. And early on in his career, to do with a team like this in Minnesota after, the years of losing, I think could be special. So I'm super excited for that series.
Yeah, that one's going to be dope, man. But it's not the only one. Obviously, this is a big matchup, too, over on the Eastern Conference. You got the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. And man, oh, man, oh, man. I'm loving this matchup here. I am loving it. And I think I'm going to love it even more when the Indiana Pacers win in 7 games. Just because they've been slept on all year long. They've been slept on in the playoffs. Nobody thought the Cavs was going to win, or nobody thought they was going to beat the Cavs. Nobody thought they was going to beat the Bucks. But yet the Indiana Pacers have been mopping every team that they played. And this is just a great basketball team. I've said it once and I said it before. Every single person on this team has a great basketball IQ. Every person on this team plays good basketball and has a good understanding of what their role is on the floor. And not only can they spread the floor 5 wide and everybody shoot and play inside out, but again, everybody is a great passer. This team is so unique, and I don't know how anybody who likes basketball or claims to like basketball continues to discredit the Indiana Pacers. I don't understand it. So I got Pacers winning in 7. And I can't wait for it because It might be a little nasty. New Yorkers ain't gonna be happy about that, and a lot of people ain't gonna like it. The ratings are probably not gonna be happy with that, but I think Pacers win it in seven.
Okay. I like mostly everything you said. I'm going to tell you, I think Tyrese, as I said, been the most clutch player. Pacers have been balling. The storylines there, they've never won before. Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, who is a champion, obviously 2019 with the Raptors. This team has been slept on throughout the entire postseason. They've been balling.
Yeah.
Tyrese, I believe his time is coming. However, it's not
Oh,
now. I'm sorry, man. Knicks
oh,
in six. The reason why I got said
six?
Knicks in six. That rhymed actually.
Crazy.
But Knicks and the reason why crazy. I'm going to tell you. Jalen Brunson has been balling, and he's going to showcase why he's better than Tyrese and one of the best point guards in the league, and why he's been doing it, this entire postseason. And the reason why I'm saying the Knicks and six, T-Wolves and Knicks, the script is here, baby. The script is here. Cat was traded for Julius Randle. Now they meet in the finals. A year later, that is an amazing storyline. Everybody said it was a bad trade. The Knicks still aren't going to do nothing. They're going to lose to Boston. T-Wolves, they thought they were going to be a play-in team. And now, look, I think that's going to be the script. And I think the T-Wolves are obviously going to win the championship, as you said, too. But the Knicks are going to win in six because they're riding that momentum. Josh Hart, those light-skinned boys, Jalen Brunson, Cat, you know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah,
hooping. They're
yeah.
hooping. So
Um,
I'm going to say Knicks in six. And the reason why I think they're going to still won at home. I believe both teams are going to do a good job defending home court, but I believe the Knicks will win more road games than the Pacers. That's why I have the Knicks in six.
Bro, look. So you mentioned the script. I know the script is already laid out. The script has been delivering all season long. I mean, from the start of the season, two guys who had great playoff runs switched teams with a little bit extra in that trade deal, and then you go fast forward into the season where you see Harrison trade this star player and Luka Doncic, then all of a sudden win the lottery. Like
Ugh.
the script has been scripted. We seen early on in the year too. Jalen Brunson, Therese Halliburton facing off on WWE, and all of a sudden now they matching up in the conference finals. So you got a point with the script of Knicks going to the finals and playing the Timberwolves, and I'm not bad. I hope you right. I think it would be dope. I think it would be something cool to watch, and I would love to see that. And if that's how Anthony Edwards is going to get his first ring, then so be it. I love it. However, I can't stand behind the Knicks beating the Pacers because I think the Pacers are just a little bit better. I think the Pacers are just a little more well-rounded by like not even a lot, but just a little bit, man. Like you go position by position, and Pacers got the advantage 1 through 5, and then you start throwing the bench guys out there. Pacers still got the advantage of who's better individually, and then as a collective when they're on the floor, they just play a little bit better. And the abilities that each person on the floor can do just outranges the Knicks in what the individuals can do on that team and as a unit. So that's why I'm with the Pacers, but I wouldn't be upset. I'm honestly cool with whoever wins. But ultimately, I think you might have a point with the script.
Thank you. And when I look at it, I was like, that would be such a cool storyline of Julius Randle going back to New York, Cat going back to Minnesota, one of them getting their first ring, and or Jalen Brunson. And also, the Knicks they made me a believer. I thought it was a fluke, but I believe the Knicks, it's their time. Right now is the best time to win the East for them because obviously last year they ran to Boston. All these other teams, it was just hard for them. But now, now is the time. So, like I said, I think Knicks in six. I think it's going to be an interesting series. It's going to be
Wow.
close. But Tyrese, his time is not yet, but he is coming though. He's coming.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, them boys loaded up right now. So we'll see, man. Other than that, Travis, bro, any hot take, I'm gonna leave the floor to you. What you got a random hot take you've been waiting to get off your chest or that's been on your mind that you just want to share and let the people know?
So
It's okay if you
random.
don't.
Okay, actually, I think I do, and I'm gonna put some respect on my boys. I always support like my light skins. Like I said, Klay Thompson is the second greatest shooter in the history of basketball. People try to discredit Klay because of obviously recent years, torn Achilles, things like that. Even though I'm saying this as a Steph Curry fan, Klay Thompson is the second greatest shooter, and obviously he helped make that dynasty. And the reason why I'm saying he's a better shooter than Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, this man hit 14 threes through 3 quarters and didn't play the fourth. That's still an NBA record. So I think a lot of people, when they look at the greatest shooters, and even in today's game, we talk about Steph, we talk about Dame, talk about Reggie. Obviously, shout out Rob. I love you, Rob. But Rob thinks Ray Allen's the greatest shooter, which he's completely wrong about that.
That's where I was
But
going.
but Clay never gets talked about in that. So I want to say Clay is the second best shooter of all time.
All right, so I'm gonna just say this, and then we're gonna let that the hot take live. I've always been on the fence about this with Ray Allen being better than Klay Thompson shooting wise. Um, I know you put Clay up there. You said
Okay.
he hit his 14 and didn't even play in the fourth quarter, which is crazy, of course. But you don't think if Ray Allen shot as much as Klay Thompson in the game, he would be able to get those same numbers that Clay has?
Well, all due respect to the great Ray Allen, no. I don't. I
Crazy,
think Ray Allen is
crazy, right?
amazing, but he can't shoot like Clay. Clay,
That's
prime,
insane, bro.
prime,
That is
prime Clay is
insane.
crazy.
That's
I don't think
insane.
it's. You look back at some of the tapes, look back at some of the highlights from Clay. I want to say from about 2014 when that dynasty started to about 2019 before he tore his Achilles. I'm telling you, you'll be like
Yeah,
11
he was
dribbles
nasty.
against Indy, 60 points, 37 points in three quarters,
He was
nine threes
nasty.
in a quarter. I
Man's
love
took
Ray,
three
but
dribbles. Man's
Ray
took like
Allen,
six dribbles and finished with 60.
Ray Allen's not scoring 37 in a quarter, hitting nine threes, 9 of 9. I'm sorry. I like Ray.
Oh
No
man,
disrespect. All due respect, though. All due
that's
respect.
gonna be that's gonna be one. That's a good one. I
What
go
about
back
you,
and forth.
Manny?
I go back and forth, bro.
What
Um,
about you? What's your
it,
take?
my killer take, bro. Let's see, man. I have so many, bro, because I be on here talking the craziest that there is. But um, as of lately, I've been on the trend of saying that the NBA needs to go back to 64 games. I know lockout seasons and stuff like that was, a little like crazy and abnormal, but I really do, really, really, really feel to the core that if the NBA dropped down to a 64 game format in the regular season, it would be far more beneficial than this 82 game season that we're witnessing. Because right now in the playoffs, it's a literal night and day situation of, okay, playoffs is here. Everybody's hyped. We're loving basketball. It's great basketball. It's physical. People are playing defense. The crowd is into it. Everyone loves playoff basketball. And then you wait a summer and get back to the regular season and you just all the way back down. No morale. Soft calls is being made. Nobody's playing like they actually care. And you eliminate that slump or that decrease, that fall all the way back to ground zero if you make it 64 games. Because immediately people are going to come out the gate buzzing. They're going to come out the gate trying to, be first seed. So if you go 64 game format in a regular season, and then you also get rid of that stupid play-in tournament where a 10 seed can get in the playoffs and also possibly win the lottery to be first in the draft, like you gotta change that. So that's the what I've been on lately in terms of my hot take, and I stand by that. I will always stand by that. And another one, and this just triggered something. Not gonna elaborate much on it. We're gonna have to discuss it next time. Russell Westbrook, arguably top 5 point guard ever.
Top five point guard ever?
Top 5 point guard
Okay.
ever. And we'll
Oh,
that's
okay.
that
We'll get more on that next time.
yeah, that was crazy, but
But to go on
I
your
can't
first
let that go.
point of
Yeah.
the first take, I actually agree with it because I think a shortened season is going to force guys to play. Because NBA, out of football and baseball and hockey, I feel like NBA is the one sport that load manages a lot. And you see
Man,
guys like just not playing. And if you could make it a shorter season and basically telling them like you have to play, I think that's amazing. And also, I agree, the play-in tournament's stupid. You work all season
dumb.
hard to make the playoffs. You're an A seed. Then you just say like the worst shooting night of the season. You go like 0 for 10, and now you're not in the playoffs, even though the previous 82 games, like
Bro.
that's stupid. So no,
Like
I agree with that.
I'm saying, bro, like yeah. So that's the wave I've been on lately
Yeah.
with the playoffs and the regular season. This is the wave I've been on lately because it's annoying, bro. You got a lot of people who don't even watch the regular season because of that. So it's like it could help viewership. But I could
I
I
agree.
could go on and on about that all day because that's one of the ones that's like a nerve for me.
Okay.
That one strikes a nerve right there. Anyway, Travis, look, man, I appreciate you for joining. Where can the people find you? They don't listen to the whole episode, or if they did listen to the whole episode, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't be knowing what the hell they be doing, to be honest. Um, but yeah, where can the people find you?
First off, man, Manny, thank you as always having me on. You literally are my
Of
favorite
course.
person to talk sports with. That is without a doubt. It's always an amazing time. We have a
Yeah.
great back and forth. And where people can follow me at, you can follow me on YouTube, Travis Hicks underscore reporter. I have a lot of content on there for my news stories and exclusive one-on-one interviews. Twitter, Travis underscore reporter, and Instagram, Travis Hicks underscore reporter. Weekly content, trying to get 3 or 4 videos out of what I do at 47, and some other exclusive interviews just with motivational speakers, athletes, and rappers. So check me out.
Yeah, definitely check them out, man. You got to check out some of them interviews because you never know who you might see. And I've known Travis for shit almost three, two,
Yep,
2 years.
we met. It was August of 23. Yeah, in Bama. So yeah, about 2 years, right?
So yeah, so I've known him for 2 years, and then randomly one day, bro, up the whole interview with Magic Johnson. I'm like, damn, bro, oh, what's up? I'm like, damn, that's what's up, dog. So yeah, you never
Appreciate you,
know.
man.
I use that as an example just to say like you never know who he might have an interview with. So you just gotta be on the lookout because man, he be doing some great work. So y'all gotta check him out. You know, if you are, thinking about it, just go search him out, man. Other than that, man, look, that's all I got for you guys today, man. And I'm gonna leave y'all on a positive note. And the positive note today is just gonna be simple, but it's just gonna be, it's hard to think positive. It's hard to do positive things when you're listening to negative things and looking at negative things. So, just flip the script. Make sure whatever you're listening to is positive sometimes. Make sure whatever you're watching is something positive. Make sure whoever you're around is positive. So I'm going to just leave it at that as for the positive note. Interpret it however you would like to. Other than that, man, that's all I got for you today. Other than that, we'll be back later on this week and so on and so on and so on.